Sonic Blast. Well, it definitely blasted my eardrums out. So basically every human ever can agree that this game is not good. And I agree with that because honestly, after playing it, this is probably the most mediocre game I have ever played. And that's not just to say, oh, it's bad, it's really in that iffy middle range. It never does anything that's great, but it also never does anything that's, like, egregious. It's in that weird middle gray area that is really forgettable. But with that said, that doesn't mean the game doesn't do anything interesting at all. It definitely has some highs and also some very definite lows, and we'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about the premise first. So the premise for this game is pretty simple. This comes from Wikipedia. The goal is to stop Dr. Robotnik from using the Chaos Emerald shards to fortify his base. The player controls Sonic the Hedgehog and Knuckles the Echidna through 15 levels. And so it's a pretty stock Sonic setting. It's just Eggman has this thing and Eggman's gonna do something bad with it, so you have to stop him. And that's about it. So I'm gonna start off with the pros. This game runs really, really well. I don't know how the Origin ports compare to the original Game Gear, but man, this game runs better than any of the other Game Gear games. It keeps a constant 60 frames, and that's quite impressive. What's even more impressive is the graphics themselves, because while this game does not look good on an artistic level, it looks really good from a technical perspective. It's incredible that a game could run this well with this much going on the screen. Just so many colors and different things showing up. And man, I gotta mention, I really like the OST for this game. It's not ballistic or crazy good, but it definitely has some bangers. I think my favorite has to be Silver Castle Zone. Another good theme is the boss theme. I really like this one as well. Speaking of bosses, all of the boss fights in this game are actually pretty good. Now, none of them are crazy, but there is one that stands out amongst the rest, and I will get to that later. So the last thing I want to mention before I get to the stuff I did not like about this game is the way the levels are named. This follows what I'm just going to call the Green Hill formula, because the name Green Hill Zone, which is actually the first level in this game, it is a color, then a location type. Then you've got, of course, just zone. And this game follows that formula because you've got Green Hill Zone, Yellow Desert Zone, Red Volcano Zone, Blue Marine Zone, and finally, Silver Castle Zone. I really like this. I mean, it's not like crazy or anything, but it's kind of like Sonic CD with keeping the names to a strict formula, and I find that, I don't know, I just think that's kind of cool. It's not really, doesn't really add to the game a bunch, but it's a neat detail that, you know, could have been looked over. So now on to the things I didn't really like. First off, Blue Marine Zone. This whole level, I hate this thing. This is literally a sin. Who came up with this? It's awful. I do not like this level at all. But there are two good things about it. First off is beating the stage, because that is really fun. And number two is the boss fight at the end. It's actually pretty good, and this is the one that I wanted to bring up earlier. So this boss fight is pretty simple. The whole thing takes place underwater, and your goal is to just hit the glass shield protecting Eggman. That's it. But it has a risk and reward element that I just think is pretty neat, because as you can see here, if I don't jump to attack him, an air bubble appears. And, of course, if you don't get in the air, you're gonna drown, right? But the way this works is that if you jump to go attack him, an air bubble does not appear. So the question is, should I wait here and make the boss fight take a little longer, or should I go and attack him and risk drowning? I don't know, it's just a neat little thing. It's not crazy or mind-blowing, but it's something neat that I just think this game did pretty well. Also, the spin dash. It gives you no speed. I mean, it's literally nothing. Like, I don't even care if there's not momentum or anything. You literally just go, it's awful. Like, you can't even charge it. You can just press it once and then hold it, and that's it. You don't spam it. It doesn't do anything. It's just such a useless mechanic that, like, serves zero purpose. And speaking of zero speed, Sonic goes really, really, really slow. Like, yeah, you can get some decent speed, but you have to be holding right for, like, 15 seconds to even get that fast, and it is just not satisfying. Yeah, speaking of not satisfying, Knuckles. His flying is literally just slow motion falling. That's it. Like, you're not gliding. You're just lunging forward in slow motion. There's no gliding here. You're just falling in a really awkward way. The climbing is slow. I mean, I didn't even attempt to beat this game as Knuckles. I just went through with Sonic, and it wasn't that bad. But Knuckles just ain't fun. You just ate it, Chief. And so, after saying all of that, I still want to add that I don't hate this game. I still think it's just okay. I mean, there's a lot of cons, but it's still not an awful game. It has some merit to it. And so, should you play this game? No, not really. I played this game off of a whim because it's such a stupid looking game. Like, it's so goofy looking. And so I was just like, this looks so stupid, I gotta try it. And so if you have any curiosity about it, I would just say go for it. Truthfully, you shouldn't waste your time with this game. I would say that it's still just a okay Sonic game. And so, wrapping everything up, this game is, like I've said, it's just clean in the middle. It is a 5 out of 10. Nothing great, nothing bad either. And so, if you did enjoy this video, I ask that you could check out the rest of this channel and see if this is any sort of content that you would like to see. If so, I invite you to subscribe because, well, I can say it once again, road to 1K, and that is, oh, it feels unreal. That's really exciting. And also, just thank you for the tons of support the channel's been getting for the past couple weeks. Like, all of the new videos have been doing really good. Like, I don't even care if I get a couple duds. It's just been really, really great for the past few weeks, and I just feel very blessed. So, thank you all for that. And so, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.